you go to put this rear pin in, you're going to have to jiggle the Mark 19 back and forward a little bit to make sure the holes line up. That's good. Okay, after that, what goes next? Remember? Guide rods go next. This part, if you've never done it before, will piss you off like the first 10 times. These things are going to keep falling out. Just slides in, this goes up on top. This part has a little forked end that clips around up here. Make sure that little metal bar in the back is pulled out towards you. Next, that goes in. There's two ways to do it. You can come in from the top like this, or you can try to squeeze it in through the back. The part that has the little rod or whatever closest to the end of it goes towards the back of the gun, okay? And it's going to fit in through that little hole. Once it's up in that hole, push that little metal rod forward, and it's going to lock it into place, okay? Next, bolt. Bolt goes next. Now, because the sear is on already, if your weapon's unsafe, your bolt's not going to go in, okay? Put your weapon on fire. If you have somebody here to help you, awesome. If not, place your bolt in just a little bit. It's only going to go about that far because that's stupid-ass trigger lever, alright? If you take this and push down on the trigger lever, your bolt will slide in the rest of the weapon. And if you use this, your fingers won't get nicked up in time. Once the bolt's all the way in, put the handle all the way through, feed it back on there, and the bolt's in. Okay, so that part's done. Now what?
Buffer thing.
You can do one of two things next. Alright? You can either put the round positioning block in or put the O-drive plunger back in first. It doesn't matter. With this part, the round positioning block, the part that has the extended end goes towards the front of the gun. Okay? Try to put it on the other way, you're just going to screw yourself. Alright, O-drive plunger goes in next. Just slides back in. Now what?
Round guy.
Not yet. The round guy. That goes next. Alright, and this is just like the charging handles. You line up the little thing here inside the little hole, push it forward, and slide it over. And you'll hear it click into place. Now goes the little shiny part. Okay? And that just sits on top because the pins that hold the feed tray in are what holds that in place. There's nothing that's going to lock that in just yet. Next. You can put the feed tray cover on next, but that's not needed. The round positioner. Okay? This is what actually pulls your rounds when you're charging the weapon over in front of the barrel so you can load it. So when you're putting it on, this spring goes towards the outside because these claws have to be facing down to grab the round and pull it. If you have it facing this way, it's not going to work. So that just goes in, slides in the little slots, and slides back over. Now, all we have left is the little fork and the feed tray cover. The feed tray cover is going to go on first. You got to put it back on the same way you took it off. With the feed tray cover on and hold it up at a 90-degree angle or those pins aren't going to go in. The pins have a little notch on it, so they have to go in through the holes just right and make sure you push them in all the way, and they'll slide in there eventually, just like that. They can only fit in one way, so if you're fighting it and it's not working, you're probably sticking it in the wrong way. Alright? Now, jackass. Next is the only part left. This piece right here, if you look down through here, you'll see a little piece sticking up, right? This fork is going to catch around that piece, because this fork is what's going to pull this side to side, okay? So when you put this back on, pull this up, make sure the little whatever the hell you want to call that is in the right spot, put the fork right through it, make sure that it catches it, and then this is just going to click back into the top of the feed tray cover. All you got to do is give it a little tap, and it goes right back in. Now your weapon is completely assembled and ready to go. Okay? Any questions on that? Assembly or disassembly? Clearing anything? Sweet. Oh, yeah. this weapon's a piece of crap. So what I'm about to tell you doesn't really work on this weapon. On a regular one that's not all screwed up, this piece right here, this little guide rod, this has to be set over a certain way or else it's not going to work. Okay? When your bolt is completely forward, this little notch right here is what catches on this. This is what guides this back and forth when the bolt goes back and forward. Okay? So when your bolt is completely forward and you're ready to close your feed tray cover, this has to be pushed all the way over to the right so that it'll line up with that little notch. But it doesn't on this one, so you actually have to take it over just a little bit more to get it to line up. If you have it over to the left and you close your feed tray cover and try to charge this weapon, it's only going to go back about halfway and then the bolt's going to jam. Okay? Make sure it's set over to the right. Now your weapon is completely ready. You can load it and go to town. Only other piece that's left is your feed throat. Okay? This is what's going to keep your rounds from getting all jammed up as it's feeding into the weapon. It's very simple. It's just got two little pins right here. All you got to do is squeeze them together like that, and they're going to fit right inside and click in. Okay? Just like that. When you hear it click and it doesn't move, it's home. Any questions? Awesome. Okay, next. Now that you've done it, and it's all together and taken apart, and